Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for yet another timely webinar. My name is Colin Diaz. If you haven't met me, I'm the president and CEO of the Culver City Chamber, and we are joined by a longtime chamber member and friends with JVS SoCal to have a workshop on how to utilize federal dollars to cut hiring expenses. This came about, we actually partnered with JVS earlier in the pandemic and had something similar, but it was almost a week after we had that, the government, and or at least in the state, shut almost everything down around Thanksgiving, and that was really a rough time. And so we've had a lot of conversation with employers that are saying, we're trying to hire people back. It's just, we're spending more money to hire people back because people are either reluctant or they just haven't come out. We need to figure out how to incentivize people. We need to mitigate costs. And of course, JVS has a solution for that. So I'm thankful to be joined by Grant Smith today, who will be doing the presenting for us. For those of you that are joining us live, if you have questions, please type them into the chat. We will be sure to get them addressed at the conclusion of the presentation. We're going to keep everybody muted so that we don't have any background noise or distraction. But again, type your questions in the chat. We'll be able to answer them. If you are thinking of something, you can type it in as it comes up. We'll still visit it towards the end, but you don't need to hold your questions until the end. With that, I'll turn it over to Grant, and you can take it away. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and then talk a little bit about okay, so is everyone on the same screen? Can we see that?
Yes.
Perfect. So just a little bit about the West LA Workforce and AJCC for those of you who don't know. We like to think that we're the best kept secret in California, really in the nation. And we are an organization that is 100% taxpayer funded. So these are as a business, don't tell anyone this is top secret, but California taxes businesses quite a bit compared to some other states. And so this is your tax dollars hard at work. It's something that we want to make sure that you're aware of. We want you to know that we're here to support you. We have a number of programs that we can customize based on your hiring needs, your expansion and growth needs. It's one of the reasons we partner with the Chamber of Commerce. Today, we're going to be talking about some specific programs that we offer, but I want you to know that if you want to reach out to us and just let us know what your situation is, we have a bit of a no wrong door approach, and we want to be there as a support to you and your company. Everything that we do is, again, I don't like to use the word free because nothing I think in LA County is free, but it's no cost to you, and it's no cost to you because it's already been paid for, again, through your taxes. So today we're going to talk a little bit about funding for hiring. So as the economy starts to open back up, I know we're all kind of on pins and needles wondering what this June 15th is going to look like for our businesses, for our workforce community. We want you to know that we're here to support you with that transition. You may be in a spot where you're looking to you're looking to hire, you need to bring someone on, but you don't have the funding or the budget to do so. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm just going to jump right into it here. Skip over. So just a quick introduction. We're going to talk about utilizing government programs to fund your hiring. There are some businesses that have been experts at this. This was actually brought to my attention that Tesla has been very good at leveraging government programs and services to help their organization grow. And I think that all of us can say that we either know who Tesla is, maybe we have a Tesla, but we certainly see them driving up and down our freeways here in Southern California. And we know that that's a large company, and Elon Musk has been very smart in leveraging a lot of these programs to help keep his company operating. And so we want to bring that same funding to you as a business in our community here in Culver City. So the first topic we're going to be talking about is on-the-job training that I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to hand it over to Catherine, who's going to talk about some of our Earn to Learn programs. So on-the-job training, this is a federally funded program under the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. The government likes to use large acronyms for things. Don't let that scare you away. We've done a very good job at making the paperwork as small as possible. I think one of the big fears that companies think of is, oh my gosh, I'm going to be doing this government program. I'm going to get audited. Are you going to be looking at my tax returns? Is there going to be a lot of paperwork? And all those fears down the line, we can assure you that our only goal and our only focus is to put money back in your pocket. And that's what we do through on-the-job training. So just a little bit about how the process works. We will pay 50% of a new hire's salary for their training period. Typically, we do around 200 or 300 hours of training. So for example, let's say you're opening up your company, you're starting to see more business come in. You need an administrative assistant to help answer the phones. Maybe you need a customer service rep to be customer facing. And you hire them on, and let's just for a nice round number say they're making $20 an hour. We will pay $10 an hour of that for their training period. So that means that you're getting a $20 an hour employee, but you're only having to pay them $10 an hour. I want to be clear, this is not a tax credit or a tax incentive. This is a live cash reimbursement where you'll see on here you get a check from us. So sort of our process, you can find your own candidates and refer them to us. You could send us a job description and say, this is what I'm looking for. Here's what I'm hiring for. We can screen and filter through our qualified candidates. Once we do that, we enroll them in the program. There's not really a lot you need to do in that. That's something that we take care of. Together, we develop a training plan. So what does it look like for you to onboard a new employee? We know that onboarding costs can be very expensive. It's a huge investment on all businesses when they're onboarding new people. Turnover is probably one of the biggest costs that employers incur. And so we want to help offset that cost. So we're going to sit down with you. We're going to develop a training plan. What does their day look like? What are they going to be learning? What are you going to be training them on? And how can we support you in that process? So you hire and follow the plan. You send us an invoice and you get a check. And it's really that simple. There's not a whole lot to it. I think I just did one of these contracts yesterday, and the entire paperwork was about 5 pages for you to sign up and take advantage of this program. So like I said, we look forward to talking further with you. If you find yourself in the situation where you are hiring, we want to know about it because we want to help assist you. We want to make sure that you take advantage of really the programs that you're already paying for. So that is OJT in a nutshell. I am going to hand it over to Catherine, who's going to talk about our Earn to Learn program.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Grant. So Earn to Learn is another program that you can utilize to defray the expense of hiring. It's different. It has different pros and cons. It is a program in which we are the employer of record. We pay 100% of the employee wages and take care of all that HR hassle, if you will. And so it's essentially like free labor. But the catch, if you will, is that these individuals are from specific populations. Are the two populations in which these folks are from is either youth or reentry. So you you select, we can bring you candidates. You can interview them, choose the most appropriate candidate. The thing is, you're not the employer of record. So after 4 to 6 weeks, however many hours we decide is optimal for you, you can decide whether or not you want to keep them or not. You don't have to keep them. There's no, in fact, you could go from one earn to learn to another earn to learn. What this is, so you might be thinking, well, why would the government do that? Well, because a lot of these folks, youth, for example, they need work experience. They don't have work experience. And someone that's coming out of incarceration also needs work experience, right? So this is an opportunity for them to gain work experience, put something on their resume, learn how, a business works, your business in particular. And then, if you like them, it's try before you buy. You can hire them or not. Grant, next.
Yeah.
So that's not all. In both of these programs, we do something that we call supportive services. And what that means is that we support the individuals as they are interviewing with you and starting and onboarding. A lot of times people don't have enough money for uniforms or tools or I don't know, even office clothing or transportation. We of course buy tap cards, but we also buy Uber cards. And then in cases where they need the resource, we will buy laptops. We'll even buy them laptops. All that to say that we make sure that that candidate has everything they need to be successful, and that you have a candidate as much as we can, because we do spend time with them on job readiness, as much as we can make sure that you have a candidate that is great for your business. So these are two government programs. They are funded, different fundings. The first one, OJT, is funded through the Department of Labor. The second one is the youth is funded from the county. The reentry program is funded from the state. All that to say that using money that is there to access is very smart. As Grant mentioned, Elon Musk has done this very well. He did it not only with Tesla, but he also did it with SpaceX and Solar City. So he accesses as much government funds as he can to help him, expand his business and grow. So we have one employer who has really optimized. In fact, they use Earn to Learn and then OJT, and we write them a $5,000 check after they hire an individual. So, they've done very, very well. So it's a program you should know about. And I will say this, you might say, well, I'm not sure about, hiring a reentry folks. Yeah, I don't know. But I will tell you this, that this particular employer, we have a lot of different kinds of clients, right? We have high-end clients, we have, low-income clients, we have mature workers, we have all kinds of clients. And so they have, as I said, utilized our program quite effectively in terms of their bottom line. They told us their favorite employees are the reentry folks. Why? Well, they are so grateful, and they are used to a schedule. So they show up on time, they don't complain, and they're grateful. And that's a great employee to have. So questions? Answers? I have answers.
I'll throw out the first question. People usually are hesitant on some. Two-part. One, is there a limit? So if you look at the Earn as you learn, if you say, we have 3 positions that we'd like to either go, Earn as you learn for all 3, or on the job training for the other, is there a limit to what you can do at a given time? And then the second question is, I guess, what does the process look like for going, if you've decided, you're listening here and say, you know, we've got 2 roles that we've been looking at filling. We weren't sure because we didn't know if we'd have the staffing. This looks like it makes sense. What is the time frame that you go from today to possibly filling a position?
Well, I can answer the first, Grant, or Yanju, you want to answer the second? That's great.
Sure.
There is not, surprisingly, there is not a limit. If you wanted to hire 10 people or 20 people, we've had requests for 30 people at a time. So there is not a limit. It's not like, oh, we will only write you a check for 50,000. No limit. The only limit really is our funding. We still have funding, so that's why we're talking to you today. But the end of our year is June 30, and then we get re-upped with funding. So we'll figure out a way to make it work. Right now we have plenty of funding. So Grant, you want to answer the second question?
Yeah, so in terms of process for kind of engaging with us, the next slide, we're going to have contact information for both Yanju and myself. We can work alongside you to get the process going. I think that it depends on how quickly you want to move. We've had employers come to us and say, I have a candidate already in mind and I'd like them to start next week. As long as we can get all the paperwork from the clients, get them enrolled, get them ready to go. It could be as short as a week. It could be a couple of weeks. It really depends on how quick you want to move and the position. Sometimes we've had businesses that come to us and you know, we can't, I'm sure you guys are experiencing this like we are. The job market is an employee's market right now. Some people are sitting home and they're saying, you know, I don't think I want to step out and work right now because I'm making enough on unemployment to sustain myself. And those are some real issues we've had, and we've utilized these projects to try and tackle that. If the job is a very unique position, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to screen candidates and find the right fit for that. But we definitely work diligently and very hard in connecting them. Once we have everything put together, the enrollment process for us to put the client in takes about 30 minutes. And then the OJT, the on-the-job training, or even the earn to learn paperwork for you, the employer, probably takes about 30 minutes as well. I'll let Yanju jump in and see if he wants anything to add.
I have a question, if I may.
Sure.
We have an interior decor business, and we're specifically looking for 2 salespersons to assist us in selling window coverings. We've placed ads in Indeed and in Craigslist, and we're not having any luck. Obviously, we know now that we will probably have to train, which we do not mind. However, a concern of mine, I would not mind hiring a reentry person, but what insurance do you provide during the time of training that would perhaps cover an incident? We provide insurance to satisfy our clients' needs when they go into their home, that they feel comfortable that we are covered and their employees are covered. Do either of your programs cover for incidents that may occur, such as a broken vase or, you know, that type of thing?
Yeah. Grant or Yanju, do you want to handle that? Because we do have, yeah, Yanju, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted. I can see you talking. Let's see.
We can't hear you, so maybe it's somehow on your end, but try it again.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, perfect. The typical technical difficulties when you least need them. So with regards to the earn to learn, we're the employer of record. So as far as the liability is concerned, that falls completely on us.
Yanju, I don't mean to cut you off, but could you talk a little bit louder? It's just.
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Now, yes,
Yes, sorry about that. With regard, Julia, how are you?
yes. Hi.
Good, good. With regards to the earn to learn portion of the training, we're the employer of record. So as far as insurance and liability is concerned, we have the workers' compensation and the liability and the earn to learn program. So that covers that. What I did want to ask you is the sales individuals you're looking for, is that indoor sales or outdoor sales?
It's outside salesperson and design consultant of some sort, but we are requiring at least 3 years experience, but we're not having any any luck with that. So we're willing to train. And it's very specific because yes, they're required to show up at the office and then pick up samples, take them to a client's, and therefore they're required to learn to pick up certain weights, certain heavy items of samples, and very specific, and then have some kind of an eye for detail. So I don't know.
Are you providing warm leads in those roles?
Yes, but after a certain time, they will be required to provide their own as well.
As well.
now what about OJT, Yanju, if she decided to utilize OJT and this new individual broke a lamp or something in a home, what happens then?
Yeah, liability. Yeah.
Well, with the on-the-job training, they're actually in the training program for the client. So that liability is not necessarily ours.
Yeah.
But there is I can send you some information on EDD has a state bonding program for people who were justice involved. So let's say if you were to, and you don't have to hire someone from that population, but that let's say you decide that you want to go that route, we can give you the information on the EDD bonding program where they will cover any damage or loss that you have to your company as a result of the person's background. Now, let's say, they were convicted 20 years ago of, writing bad checks or something. Them coming in and breaking a lamp, I don't know that it would necessarily qualify as being something that was damage caused by them having a background.
Well, temptation is always there. They're going into wealthy homes. So if thievery was ever a possibility, we would need to know what guarantees we have to protect ourselves.
Yeah, I will say this, that we screen for the business. Okay, so in your case, we would keep that in mind in terms, because some people are in for drug charges or something,
Right.
And usually, I mean, I would say most of the folks we deal with, they really are, they're with us because they want a new life. They want to leave that old life behind. They really are rehabilitated. And, but, we do a significant amount of assessments to figure that out. And
Okay.
so, and then you interview them as well. So,
Right.
but what we could do for you is both. We could do earn to learn, which is 4 or 5 weeks, in which we're the employer of record. We have the liability, we have the workers' comp, all that. And then if you say this person, you generally kind of know at 4 or 5 weeks. If you say, I don't think this person is going to work out, that's fine. No harm, no foul. But then we could do OJT. Okay, then you become the employer of record.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I throw something in there quickly, just to
Yep.
try and, Julia, I
Yes.
totally understand your concerns as far as reentry population is concerned, considering the background that some of them may have had. But after our screening, because there are certain violations that we wouldn't send clients to any position for. But in my experience, this has been the most hardworking, most reliable population to hire. I just wanted you to know that also.
Right. Well, we're still also willing to hire, sorry for interrupting you, willing to hire youth, because actually we have another position, clerical, so administrative clerical. So, if any of you know anyone who might be
Yes,
interested.
Actually, I do. And I think that's something we could make happen rapidly. Incumbent
Mhm.
on one thing though, what is the compensation range for both positions, if you don't mind me asking? Because
Oh,
that makes a big
yes, I
difference.
do mind. No, I don't. Yes, for the sales positions, it really depends on their motivation, because it's by commission only. And so rates have been from 40 and up, 40K. So it just depends on the motivation. There are two people that we have are on in years, such as myself. And so they're wanting to retire, but they're not leaving us until we find someone to replace them, which is very kind of them. So for the clerical position, it can be, it starts at 15. We don't pay anyone below 15 ever. So an hour. And so that would be part-time starting, and they could lead into a full-time position because
Sure.
our office manager needs assistance too. Fortunately, we've been blessed with very good business during this time, because people have been sitting at home looking at their poor tired furniture and their window coverings. So thank goodness, we've been in that position. Now we're willing to share with hiring more people. So, and we've never had to ever let anyone go. Not for the 53 years that we've been in business.
That's
So,
very nice.
Oh, wow.
A last question I do have for you, Julia. is
yes,
For the sales role, are
Yes.
you flexible as far as having a base salary and a commission structure? Because entirely commission would be a bit of a challenge.
perhaps, perhaps
Five-
starting,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, John, I just have a tendency to interrupt. Starting maybe a month or two, but we have found in the past that there's no motivation if we provide some sort of a stipend. We find that people are more motivated to sell when they can go in and present the product that they initially had in question, and then provide ideas for upgrading to a higher sale level. Because otherwise they'll just sell the product. They know that there's a salary waiting for them anyway. And so there's no motivation. So that's been our role all this time. So for those positions, it's always been commissions only. Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I'd appreciate any assistance that you can all throw our way. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
This slide here real quick. This has our contact information. If you want to reach out to, maybe send an email to Yanju and myself, and we could set up a side consultation
okay.
where we can do like a business needs assessment and talk through, what it is that you need, and try to structure. Like I said, we have a lot of programs, so we don't want to come on and just, it'd be like drinking out of a fire hose to tell you that we do this and we do
Yeah.
that, we do that.
Well, I do have a long list
Yeah,
of our requirements, so I can shoot them over to you.
that's great.
And then you can say, you're crazy, Julia, we can't help you. Or here we go, we have a few candidates for you. So we're happy either way. So
Yeah,
mhm.
we could sit down and talk and come up with some kind of plan.
I appreciate it.
From one of
Thank
our
you.
many resources to assist you.
Thank you for the information, all of you. Catherine, thank you.
Yeah,
Danju.
our pleasure. Any other questions?
I'll ask one that I know we had gotten the last time around, in regards to, I think you called it, no, now I'm forgetting. I know it was Catherine that mentioned it, about the supportive services, maybe what you had mentioned
Yeah.
it. How is that calculated going into a job, and what type of flexibility? So for example, if somebody is going into an office role where, I don't know, there's a certain decor that they need to have, and they, need assistance, and you guys are able to provide that for them. If there's a transportation piece to the role and they happen to be a good fit, but maybe they don't have reliable transportation, is that when something like, I think you mentioned, TAP or the like Uber cars, that's how does that, I guess, assessed in the beginning and communicated to the employer?
Oh, so yeah, so in your example, we would buy 1 or 2 outfits In fact, we'll go to Ross or JCPenney or Target or wherever with the client, and they go shopping and we pay for it. And then if transportation, what we do is we buy sufficient transportation for the first 2 weeks. So, you know, depending on, it's always individualized, because some people it's like, oh, I always take the bus, give me a tap card, it's fine. And some people can't do that because they live in a weird place, or, you know, the buses don't work. I mean, it will take too much time. So it's everything's individualized, and we have the funds to provide the resources to make sure that they make it through that period of time when before they get a check. Does that make sense to Grant? Yeah, Grant, Yanju, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think I would add that that's where a lot of the career coaching comes into. Like so everyone that comes through our program gets assigned a career coach, and our job is to sort of take care of the things that they may not want to bring to their employer's attention. They don't want to go in and say, well, I don't have the clothing, I don't have the shoes, I don't have the transportation. I like to talk to them too, because Catherine, plug your ears, but for probably a couple of months when I first started here, I was completely on public transportation, and I didn't miss a single appointment. I was never late. I showed up on time and was able to navigate it. So we start with, you know, giving tap cards to people. I like to sit with them and sort of map out how you're going to get there. You know, all of the stuff that the barriers, I guess, if you will, I don't really like that word, but it's the only one that we have. The barriers that may be keeping them from being successful on the job, we want to take care of behind the scenes, so that when they show up at work, they're dressed, they're on time, and they're ready to go.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate that. One other question, sorry to pepper you guys with so many of them, but one other question that comes to mind is on the job training side. Well, actually, sorry, two questions. I'll ask the Earn While You Learn program, or Earn to Learn program question first. What is the percentage, if you were to give a guess, of, you know, younger applicants that are just starting in the career field versus reentry? And the reason I ask that is I have seen with reentry the kind of willingness to move on a better path, and the appreciative nature that they come to work in. But I do know that for certain roles, having experience, whether it's work experience or life experience, may lend itself better than somebody entering the workforce. And so is there a preference, or is there an option for somebody to select? For example, if I were a company, could I say, of these, I'd rather have a reentry, or I'd rather have somebody that's, or is it just, if you're doing the program, you get whatever's available?
No. It's your hire, it's your, you know, money. So yeah, if you want to say, I don't want, you know, some people don't like youth, you know, I don't want a youth. It's like, okay, fine. You know, some employers prefer mature workers. That's fine. We'll find you mature workers. You know, if you don't want reentry, we won't. But the Earn to Learn, like I said, works only with those two populations.
Right.
So, but no, it's entirely user defined. Yeah.
I have a question.
I'd like
I have
to throw
somebody
something in
that's
there.
interested in training for my company. Could they join your program, that person?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
And
not sure.
how would they do so?
So you would connect with Yanju or Grant and refer the person.
I didn't catch that. Something Grant, and I didn't catch it.
Oh, well, I don't know if you can see the screen, but there's email us, and then there's Grant and Yanju there.
Oh,
and
Grant and Yanju. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
catch it. Yeah.
you would contact them. You can call or email, or whichever you would like, and discuss, and then refer the person. They would need to enroll with us.
Okay.
This is just how these programs work. Before, you know, we start spending money, whether it's OJT or Earn to Learn. So you'd refer them to us, we would enroll them, then we would, figure out what works for you best in terms of those programs and start.
That's great. That's very helpful.
Yeah, they're these great programs for small and medium-sized businesses that most companies don't know about. So that's why we're really grateful to the chamber for letting us share with you, because it's going to help. It's going to help folks that have been, a lot of businesses have kind of been through the ringer this last year. So
Yeah.
Yanju?
One thing to add real quick about the reverse referrals, I guess out of the fine print is they can't have already been working. So it can't be that's a different thing we'd call an incumbent worker. So if it's somebody that's already employed, unfortunately, they wouldn't qualify for the OJT. But if you have someone that, hey, I'm just thinking of bringing this person on, reach out to us. And like I said, we'll create a customized plan for your business to make sure that we optimize all the support.
That would be, yeah, terrific. Yeah, I have somebody interested in learning that that wants to fill a need, but needs some amount of training, especially some of the technology and other things. So yeah, thank you.
Yes, Yanju, did you have something?
Yes, I did. I actually had my hand up. I was going to ask, well, it says the immigration professor. I was going to ask you a question. What kind of roles are you talking about?
I have need for like legal assistant people. It obviously helps if that person is bilingual, but my practice is now entirely virtual. I mean, I meet with clients all over the country on Zoom. I use Dropbox for documents. I mean, we're very technical, and I have someone interested in working for me, but that person's going to need some amount of training. And it's tough because for a while they're I've done this before, they're not contributing a lot until they've got a solid footing, and someone like that could be very valuable because the bilingual skills, but they need to, at least right now, have the other skills as well. So there's a big learning curve for that. And it takes a fair amount of time. So that's what really attracted me to your program. Yeah.
Sounds good. That means either program could be applicable.
Yeah.
Send us a message and we can jump on it.
Yeah, Yanju, can you speak up?
It's like that means that either of our programs would be applicable.
Okay.
So totally up to you. Make the decision which one you prefer. I see you've got our contact information. So if you can send us a message today, we can discuss.
I will email you today. Should I email this person's contact information as well? Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
I have her reach out to you directly.
that works fine.
Okay, I will do that.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Sure. So, do we have any more questions? Anybody? Speak now. Or
I would at the very least say that everybody should screenshot or write down the contact information on the screen. I mentioned this at the very beginning, but this is being recorded. We will have it available on our website and send it out as an e-blast. I got responses from a lot of people that were interested in the topic, but weren't able to make today's time. So we'll be sure to make it available for folks. And I want to—
Grant, you want to put that up again? The contact information?
Yeah, it should be
Yes,
up.
it's on. It's on. Yeah. So I want to thank, Yanju, Grant, and Catherine, and, JVS for being great partners. Grant said something about 10 minutes ago that was really probably underemphasized. They really do have a whole host of programs, different sectors, different business needs. So even if it's not these two that you heard about today, I would highly encourage you to reach back out to them. They do everything from helping companies that are growing, shrinking, starting, staffing, and kind of everything in between, and do a great job of leveraging money that you all have already contributed into the government coffers, if you will, through taxes that are paid. So it only makes sense that you utilize that money to work back for you as well. So thank you all. It looks like there's a few people that will be emailing you. I know that there's other sectors that were attending today and ones that wanted to that may not have been able to. So I will ensure that they get your contact information as well. But thank you all for joining us today. And again, thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Yanju. And hope you all have a good rest of the week and a great reopening as we get to June 15th and beyond.
Yes, thank you, Colin, so much.
Thank you.
And we hope to hear from you guys.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.